Coming up on Sports Night. The Wildcats were looking to end their two-game losing streak against Purdue on Saturday. We'll tell you how they did.
Northwestern men's and women's basketball is back. We'll take you to the hardwood for the first few games of the season for both teams.
And we followed around Northwestern football player Tommy Doles for a whole day to give you a look into the life of a Wildcat.
All right, Lindsay, I've got good news and I've got bad news. Which one do you want to hear first?
Definitely the bad news first.
Bad news? Okay, well, unfortunately, this is our last show of fall quarter.
That's a huge bummer. What's the good news?
Well, the good news is that it's Sports Night
right now.
Welcome on back to Sports Night. My name is Max Goodman. This is Lindsay Armacost.
You know what, Max? It may be the last show of the quarter, but I think they might have saved the best for last. Northwestern football went down to West Lafayette, Indiana on Saturday to take on the Purdue Boilermakers. Coming off of 2 losses to Wisconsin and Ohio State, the Wildcats were looking for a big win to keep their hopes for a bowl game alive. Let's watch the film. Here we are in Ross Stadium, where the Boilermakers went up early but quickly lost steam. Here you can see Clayton Thorson find a crossing Austin Carr for the easy TD, 10-7 Purdue. That lead would not last long. With just under 3 to play in the first half, Thorson goes long to find Carr again. He finished the day with 5 catches, 97 yards, and 2 touchdowns. After halftime, it was all Wildcats all the time. Here is Justin Jackson with one of his 2 touchdowns of the game, this one on a 14-yard run. And only a minute later, and the Cats were back. Here is Garrett Dickerson's 42-yard reception and touchdown to make it an 18-point game with still a lot of time on the clock. The final score would be 45-17 Northwestern.
After facing off against Ohio State and Wisconsin, 2 of the best teams in the nation defensively, Northwestern got a break here in West Lafayette against the Purdue Boilermakers. The game started off shaky for the Wildcats as Purdue put up a field goal and a touchdown early in the first quarter to put the Boilermakers up 10-0. But thanks to Clayton Thorson passing a career-high 352 yards and Austin Carr tying a program record of 12 touchdowns in a single season, the Northwestern offense took over by the half. But it was all Northwestern in the third quarter. Justin Jackson also broke 1,000 yards this season with this run, making him the first player in program history to rush more than 1,000 yards in 3 consecutive seasons.
It's pretty cool to go out there and be successful offensively, because we know what we can do. And it just comes down to us going out there and executing consistently. I think we did that today.
Northwestern's 28-point run was broken by this 49-yard touchdown pass to Bilal Marshall to put Purdue within 11 points of the Wildcats.
I mean, I don't know if you guys could hear from the press box, but everybody in the boundary is yelling, Dover, just deep over up. Dover, Dover, Dover. And then we give up a touchdown, and I almost broke my 6th headphone of the year.
But Northwestern would pull away to beat Purdue 45-17. Northwestern, now with 5 wins, is 1 step closer to bowl eligibility. Next week, they will head to Minneapolis to face off against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. For NNN Sports, I'm Grace Choi here from Ross Stadium.
And now to break down Northwestern's triumphant victory at Purdue, we are joined by the one, the only, Sam Brief, straight from Inside NU. Sam, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Max.
So it's safe to say that this has been a very up and down season for the Wildcats on offense thus far. Yes, they did drop a 45 spot on Purdue on Saturday, almost double their 25 points per game average. But this team has definitely struggled on offense against high-powered high-powered defensive units. So Sam, how good is Northwestern on offense? Are they legit, or are they simply good against suspect defenses?
Well, you're certainly right to say that they're much better against suspect defenses, and that's kind of, I mean, I don't want to exaggerate it too much because it's something that happens in sports. I mean, if you're an offense, you're going to play better against worse defenses, but with Northwestern, it's a bit exaggerated. with teams in the Big Ten above 500. They're averaging just 19.5 points per game. Teams 500 and under, they're scoring 41 points per game. 54 points against Michigan State, 45 at Purdue. So this is an offense that looks really good against bad teams and not so hot against good teams. I mean, the offensive line even, Justin Jackson getting the running game going against Michigan State and Purdue looked really, really good. But against Wisconsin, of course, Jackson had less than 15 carries, was a non-factor, and Thorson made a lot of bad reads. So I don't want to exaggerate it too much because it happens in sports, but certainly Northwestern's much better against worse competition.
Yeah, and with all of that view, what are the keys for Coach Fitz and the Wildcats this Saturday as they hit the road to take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers? You know, a team that has quietly had themselves a really good year in the Big Ten West.
Record-wise, they have had a good year, but again, that's a bit inflated because their Big Ten wins are against pretty low-quality opponents like Purdue, Illinois, Rutgers, and then they've lost to teams like Penn State and Nebraska who are actually good. So this Minnesota team is actually a really good rush defense. They're 24th in the country, giving up just over 120 rushing yards per game. So that puts a lot of the onus on Clayton Thorson to have a good game. So I look at him as one of the keys. Also, Minnesota's a really good rushing team. Mitch Leidner, however, at quarterback is very inconsistent, actually has more interceptions than touchdowns on the season. So that puts the onus on the Wildcats secondary to try and pounce on him a bit in the early going. I think Northwestern wins this one by about 3 or 4 points because of those things, and Minnesota just isn't as good as its record shows.
Gotcha. Well, that is all the time we have for you, but thank you so much for stopping by. For more on Sam Brief, be sure to check out InsideNU.com.
You've heard about many of Northwestern's football players being successful on the field and in the classroom. But how about in the art studio? Grace Choi reports.
Number 4, wide receiver Solomon Vaught. You've seen him catching touchdowns this season against Duke and Indiana, and of course this crucial 95-yard kickoff return in Northwestern's win against Michigan State. But have you seen him with a paintbrush? After signing up for a painting class simply because it was a course that fit in his busy in-season schedule, Vaught discovered that he had a knack for painting. Perhaps he got it from his father, who painted as a hobby.
Cartoon, he's big on like Marvel and DC and stuff like that. He's really into Star Wars and all that stuff, so he used to paint like Iron Man and stuff like that. So.
For his most recent project, he painted a stunning baobab tree.
This one is a lot of blending, and that's something I found out that I like to do in painting, was blend. So when I chose to paint this, you can see I blended a lot right here in the clouds, blended a lot up top, and it's something that's kind of it's difficult to do, but when you get it right, it's very rewarding.
Though it's not every day that you see a dynamic football player be skilled with a paintbrush, Vaught is surrounded by artistic teammates.
For instance, me and Warren hang out a lot. We actually have some music together on his laptop and stuff like that, so that's something we do in our free time. Austin Carr, he's very musically inclined. He can play the piano, has a great voice. Ian Park has a great voice. I don't think you can take great pride in being one-dimensional, and there's a lot of talented guys, with some unusual talents on our team. So it's definitely fun to discover those as we go along.
Now that Solomon has discovered his gift for painting, it's only a matter of time until a teammate finds his unexpected talent off the field.
Solomon says his next project will be a portrait, the subject yet to be determined, but there's no doubt that it will also be a masterpiece.
Coming up after the break, more construction looming on Northwestern's campus, this time at Patton and Blomquist Gymnasiums. We've got the details, so stay tuned.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats! Go you Northwestern. Northwestern. Go Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Despite a semifinal loss to Rutgers in the Big Ten tournament, the women's soccer team was still hungry for success. The Cats faced off against the Kent State Golden Flashes in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Let's see how they did. An impressive victory for the Wildcats, taking down Kent State 3-0. Sophomore midfielder Marissa Vigiano shined with 2 assists on the night. Junior Cassidy Gorman notched her 5th goal of the season at the 82nd minute mark to seal the deal for the Cats. Lauren Clem held down the back end of the field, making 5 saves and shutting out the Kent State offense. The Cats are back in action tomorrow night as they take on Southern Illinois University Edwardsville in the second round of the tournament.
This week was the official start of the Northwestern men's basketball season. They were very busy, playing 3 games in 6 days, with their first coming on Friday against Mississippi Valley State. Let's look at the highlights. NU opened their season up at home against the Delta Devils of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. The game started off slow. Here's Scotty Lindsay bringing it up the court and dishing it to a driving Lumpkin. Just a few minutes later, NU is showing great ball movement along the perimeter, and the play finishes with the dime master himself taking his own shot, and it is good for 3. The Cats didn't slow for long. They opened up an 18-point lead at halftime. Another first about this first game of the season is that it's Vic Law's first game since sitting out last season after having shoulder surgery. He had a big game with a career-high 18 points. Northwestern would finish the game with a 31-point win.
And 3 days after their season opener, the Wildcats laced up again on Monday night, hosting the Eastern Washington Eagles. Co-captain Bryant McIntosh finds big man Derek Pardon down low for the smooth finish. Cats up 7-2. More offense from the Cats here as Scotty Lindsay finds Vic Law for the 3-pointer, tickles the twine. Cats up 12-5. But the Eagles wouldn't go down without a fight. Here's Bogdan Bliznyuk with the driving and finishing in the lane. And then he puts BMAC on skates, tossing up the alley to a cutting Jacob Wiley for the sweet alley-oop jam. But the rest of the game was all Cats. Scotty Lindsay finishes with the easy lay-in, and then a huge slam from Derek Pardon here. Final 86-72.
The Wildcats were able to fend off the pesky Eastern Washington Eagles 86-72 Monday night in the opening round of the Legends Classic. Victor Law led the Wildcats with 26 points.
Some amazing performances tonight. I thought Vic Law was sensational. Made a lot of big plays. I thought Scotty Lindsay quietly gave us great minutes with 6 assists, 6 rebounds. BMAC, brought us home down the stretch.
Before each game, I like to watch a lot of film on teams and on just like how their style of play is. What they like to do, what each player is going to do. All my matchups. Just watching all that and then coming back this year. I feel like I'm slowed down a little bit and just more mature to, take my shots when they're there.
Brian McIntosh led the Wildcats with 7 assists.
We were getting some matchups that I liked, and so I was just trying to attack and create something. I feel like we're very spread out in our scoring. I think we had 5 guys in double figures, where I thought last year we predominantly relied on us 3 guys to score to get to double figures. So it's a lot more variety, and I think it makes it tougher on the other teams to figure out how they're going to guard us because we have so many guys that are scoring right now.
From Welsh Ryan Arena and NNN Sports, I am Evan Denton.
Yesterday, the Cats dropped a heartbreaker to Butler by a final score of 68-70. The Bulldogs hit the go-ahead bucket with less than 1 second left on the clock. Vic Law was a bright spot for Northwestern again with 17 points and 6 rebounds, but Keelan Martin carried Butler to the win with 22 points.
On Monday, former Northwestern men's basketball player Johnny Vassar filed a class action lawsuit in a U.S. District Court against Northwestern and the NCAA. Vassar alleges mistreatment by the university and that NU used tactics to get him to leave the team to free up his athletic scholarship. Under NCAA rules, a school cannot give more than 13 players athletic scholarships, and at the end of his freshman season, in which he averaged almost 4 minutes in 18 games, he announced that he intended to transfer. When Vassar reached out to other Division I programs, they said that they would only accept Vassar if he could play immediately. That was not possible because under NCAA rules, a player who transferred must sit out a full season. The class action suit argues that this rule violates antitrust law. The university issued a statement calling Vassar's allegations, quote, without merit and simply inaccurate, end quote. The VP for University Relations, Al Cubbage, also reminded people that Vassar is still an enrolled student at Northwestern and that the university has no control over the NCAA rules that Vassar mentions in his filing.
Northwestern women's basketball kicked off its 2016-2017 campaign against Hampton, taking on the Lady Pirates Friday afternoon at Welsh Ryan Arena before wrapping up the weekend against Oral Roberts on Sunday. Northwestern starters getting announced for the first time this season at Welsh Ryan Arena. Cats had trouble early on in this one. Ashley Deary misses a jumper, and Hampton takes it to the other side of the court, finishing with a Moanjay Finney-Smith bucket. But Northwestern would come back with a 17-point second quarter highlighted here by this Lauren Douglas bucket. NU would head into halftime with a 5-point lead. Fast forward to the third quarter, watch out. Ashley Deary's coming to pick your pocket, and she takes it all the way to the other end for the finish. Check that one out right there. And fourth quarter now, Nia Coffey finds Oceana Hamilton for the easy bucket, and the Cats would prevail 67-48. Cats now taking on Oral Roberts in Northwestern's second game of the season on Sunday. Early, Lydia Rohde drives baseline, tries to find Oceana Hamilton, and instead finds Nia Coffey at the top of the key, splash, NU up 3-0. Later, Nia Coffey with the 16-footer, hoop and harm. Coffey finishes with 20 points and 11 rebounds in this one. Later, the player Joe McEwen calls one of the most underrated in college basketball. Christian Inman hits from outside, Cats up 9 at intermission. Now Hamilton swings around to Rohde in the corner, pure nylon. And then in the fourth, Coffey with a nice feed into Inman, who finishes at the rim. Wildcats win by 9 over Oral Roberts.
And like the men's team, the women's team also played 3 games in 6 days, with all 3 being played at home, and the third coming against the Missouri State Lady Bears. Coming off of 2 straight wins, the Cats came out rolling, leading Missouri State by 11 points after the first quarter. Here you can see the Wildcats showing off their defensive skills, and Ashley Deary would finish the game with 6 steals. She already has 11 on the season, and then the Cats take advantage, scoring a bucket in transition. And here's sophomore Amber Jamison with the move and the 2 points right after this. She added 10 minutes of play. And then with just under 5 minutes to play in the game, Palas Kunai Akpana gets the steal and the breakaway basket. The Wildcats never let go of their lead after gaining it in the first 2 minutes. Final score, 75-52. The women's basketball team will be back in action on Friday in Chicago against DePaul before returning to Evanston for a 4-game stretch at home.
With part of Henry Crown Sports Pavilion, aka SPAC, under construction, Patton and Blomquist are the only 2 facilities on Northwestern's campus where students can play indoor basketball. However, that will change temporarily beginning on Monday, November 21st. The construction is estimated to take 6 weeks to complete. During this month-and-a-half time period, both gyms will be completely unusable. While the gyms will come back better, some students are concerned about where they will hoop for the next few weeks. Our Adam Bronstein went to Blom and caught up with graduate student Jarek Zatorsky to find out what he thought about the construction.
Well, I play like 3 times a week. I don't have a gym membership because of this, so it'll be winter time, so there's no outdoor basketball in Chicago. And something I do in my free time and something I do to like put off stress. So yeah, it will be a loss. I guess it's over break, so they're trying to get rid of it, but a lot of people would probably like it when they have the free time as well.
We will be sure to check back in at the beginning of the winter quarter on this story.
And what does a Northwestern football player do when they're not on the field? We'll show you after the break.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
right through that. Ah, with our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Ever wonder what it's like to be a Northwestern student athlete? Tommy Doles, a redshirt freshman offensive lineman, gave SportsNight an inside look at a typical day in his life.
Some potatoes and a pancake, please. Work with the offensive line coach and our position groups and install the game plan for the week. That's really, again, a time to master your craft. Work on these things that are going to translate to the field. Pretty quick turnaround because I got to get to class and then I'll head back up to the stadium, hop in the ice tub, and head to my next class, 2 o'clock to 3:20, Southeast Asian Politics. Fascinating class. Thank you very much. Purple, go Cats. We'll meet with our coach, we'll watch practice from earlier in the day, see what there is to learn from practice. Helmet came off, do some more studying, and I'll also spend some time at some point in the day to read my Bible. I'm a Christian, that's very important to me. I think that's enough work with this current task. I should study for my quiz tomorrow. Some gourmet stovetop chicken I made. Yeah, intellectual property rights, it's just as far as the role of the World Trade Organization in protecting that. Athletes in Action is a Christian organization on campus that brings together students from every different team. For me, my Christian faith is the most important part of my life. I get to be in charge of the games, and sometimes I think I have more fun than anyone else there. Wait for it. My first true love. Oh, I missed it. Good night, fellas.
Even though his days are long and tough, Joel says he loves football and his experience as a student here at Northwestern.
For Northwestern women's volleyball fans, the 2016 season has been, well, a tough pill to swallow. Entering play this past Saturday, the Wildcats were 8-18 and victorious in only one of their last 15 matches. But it can't get any worse, right? Well, let's see if the Wildcats can play spoiler at home against two of the nation's best, the number 3 Wisconsin Badgers and the number 2 Minnesota Golden Gophers. And here we go at Welsh Ryan Arena, the Cats looking to upset the mighty Badgers. Jumping ahead to late in the first set, NU up 26-25. Ball's passed around, and here comes Gabrielle Hazen with the huge slam, emphatic kill. That would give the Cats the victory in the first set. Second set now, Northwestern up 24-18. Okay, third set now. No, sorry, fifth set. The Badgers were just too much for the Wildcats in this one. They would come back and win 3-2. And now moving ahead to Northwestern's matchup with the number 2 Minnesota Golden Gophers. Here we go, set 1, Cats down big, and there's a huge dig from a slam from Sophia Lavin. Ball's bounced around, and Minnesota with the kill. Cats would lose set 1. Cats would go on to lose set 2. Here's a big kill from junior Simone Abbott, though. And then in set 3, it was all Minnesota. There's the clinching point. Cats would lose 25-10 and the sweep 3-0. The Cats will face Ohio State tomorrow and Maryland on Saturday before traveling east next week to close out their season.
All right, did you happen to hear about Ashley Deary starring in National Treasure 3 with Nicolas Cage? Of course you haven't, because that's absurd. Well, let's go to the Rock to see how Northwestern students responded. Here's Ben Krieger.
Hi, I'm Ben Krieger here for NNN Sports with another segment of Rock Talk. Today we are on South Campus at our lovely Rock, and we will be asking random Northwestern students about the recent happenings in Wildcat athletics. Chino Malnati, Lou Malnati's family, is a freshman on the team.
Yeah.
There are reports that over the weekend he was outside Giordano's for 8 hours selling his own pizza, trying to drive away their business. Do you have a reaction to that?
I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do to get that money. I mean, Tino, not a key contributor to the team in terms of on the court, but definitely in terms of pizza, he's going to be key for them.
I don't know. I feel like that's a bit aggressive marketing on the part of his family.
So Ashley Deary, one of the players for the women's basketball team, last year led the Big Ten in assists. She's one of the best defensive players in the country. They're asking her if she wants to team up with Nick Cage to steal the Declaration of Independence and National Treasure 3.
I mean, that's the dream. Who wouldn't want to team up with Nick Cage to steal the Declaration of Independence? Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea to steal the Declaration of Independence.
You gonna go see that movie if it comes out?
Oh man, I mean, any National Treasure sequel I would see, but that one in particular, I would love that.
Kyle Caro, I don't know if you know who he is. He had that amazing interception a couple weeks ago. So he's been spotted carrying a club on the sidelines before the game, like Josh Norman with the bat, if you remember that.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Is that an issue of player safety?
I don't know. I think it's just like a fun thing. I don't know if that. I don't think it means anything so like threatening or anything. I think it's just kind of like amping things up.
If he's not hitting anyone with it, I think everyone's safe. Are we talking about the club?
We are talking about the club that is his hand.
Well, Lindsay, the leaves are finally falling, the colors are changing, the turkey is soon to be in the oven, and the show is coming to an end.
And you know what that means. Plays of the Week coming up next.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Go Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Welcome back to Sports Night. Max, the show might be coming to an end, but we're not done yet.
That's right, Lindsay. Role plays of the week. And at number 3, we have another Ashley Deary steal from NU's win against Hampton. There it is. Jeffany Brown had the ball, but Deary takes it away, zigzags through traffic, and scoops up that layup.
And at number 2, we have a crazy play from NU's win over Mississippi Valley State. It's Lindsay to Brown to Law for the slam. Law is pumped, and the Cats win by 31. He had 18 in the game.
And coming in at number 1, from the Cats' big road win at Purdue, Clayton Thorson finds a streaking Austin Carr over the middle for a 42-yard touchdown grab. Carr's 12th of the season ties the NU single-season record. Cats win a laugher, 45-17.
Well, that's all we have time for tonight. For more Northwestern sports coverage, be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
And on behalf of the entire Sports Night staff, thank you so much to our loyal viewers for tuning in. Have a happy holiday season, and we'll see you right back here in January. Good night, and go Cats.